Hey, this is Sebastian from the Metal Gods Meltdown, and this evening I am joined by
Billy from Biohazard, Billy Bio and Powerflow.
Leaders and Liars is a great title and so relevant to the world today, wouldn't you say?
For me it is. You know, it's a timely thing after being all of us being locked down for almost 2.5 years now with COVID. If we took away anything, it's one is patience. If you don't have it, we learned how to have it. And number two, that our leaders are just completely full of shit, and it's a giant pantomime, and it brings it to mind that old joke: how do you know when a politician's lying? Their lips are moving. So the other thing too is not to be all heavy political, but I love to talk about all the songs and Leaders and Liars because it's such a big part of me. But the mere fact that nobody in any government anywhere has ever thought that one day there may be a pandemic that spreads that we can't control. Let's have a contingency plan. Let's like, I don't know if you have it, but in my house, I have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen. I have one in the garage. I have one on the back porch. In case there's ever a fire, I have a plan. The mere fact that none of our governments had a plan, and it seemed like everybody was just running around like a bunch of chickens with their head cut off. It was like, what the fuck is going on? Are you kidding me? This seems so obvious that was potentially going to happen, and we saw it happening for a few months in China, and still nobody was prepared. So, Leaders and Liars is a testament not just to the pandemic, and I actually said to myself, I'm not going to write one song or talk about the pandemic because it's something we all had to deal with, and we all have our own stories, challenges, and losses. But the situation with their governments, it's always been like that, and it seems like the more time I spend here on Earth, the more I see how full of shit they all are.
Couldn't agree more, dude. Absolutely. And a sort of relevant track to what's going on with Ukraine and Russia. I sort of really love the.
Let's not hope it becomes UK. And
yeah,
Russia.
Man.
That'll be.
My personal favourite track on your album is Fallen Empires. I think that's really relevant. But which is your favourite track on the album today, and why?
They're all my favorite songs, bro. It's like giving birth to babies. You know. I don't know if you have kids, but I got 2 young kids, and they've never asked me who my favorite is, but they're both my favorite. You can never pick that, and I think the songs, what I create, it's almost like there's this little sliver of inspiration that comes from somewhere, and it becomes a seed that grows, and I nurture it, and it grows into something that represents me like as powerful as just, it's like an arm or a leg or my back muscles. It's a part of me. And since day one with Biohazard, through Powerflow and Blood for Blood and Billy Bio, I think Billy Bio is probably the most purest representation of who I am as a person and as an artist, because it's not watered down or kind of like diluted, so it's what I feeling inside my heart and soul is what comes out on Leaders and Liars and even the first record, Feed the Fire.
Yeah, I would say it's your strongest album ever.
You know what? Every band that I ever fell in love with, it was always seemed to be that the second record was always the most powerful, because it's usually it's a prelude to, if it's a kick-ass record, it turns into album. There's a third album and a fourth album. For Biohazard, it was Urban Discipline. And what I think it is, you kind of have a long time. It could be your whole life or several years putting together your first release, and then you put a band. You put everything together, and you go on tour, and you play those songs every day, and you get along and learn about your the fellow bandmates and make a lot of friends and hopefully new fans. But then you only have like a year or 2 years to put you're like a second group of songs together. And even though I've never stopped to say, okay, now I'm going to write the second record, I'm always writing, and there comes a point where the songs kind of jump off the page and say, I'm Leaders and Liars. But you're making your second record with all this touring energy, all this these great vibes, and you're getting along. You have a family that's been playing these first album songs for such a long time on tour every day. That second record that's the real meat and potatoes of any band that I've ever loved. And it's like you cut your teeth on the first record, but the second record really shows what you're made of, and it determines if there's going to be a third or fourth record. So for me, every record I try to. I don't try, but I think it's like the more you do something, the better you get at it. And for me, it's not like I'm trying to outdo anything, but the creativity becomes more fluid. I would imagine having more time. The fact that I own my own recording studio, COVID shut down, and in LA and the US, nobody could. Or you weren't supposed to leave your house, but I just went to the studio every day. When everything was cool at home with the family, I just hung out in the studio by myself. I didn't have to wear a mask, and everything was cool.
How pleased are you with the feedback from your fans and the media in general so far?
It's weird. It's great. The reviews are great. People love the record. They're feeling it, and that's awesome for me. And not to sound like a fucking an asshole, but that's not why I do it. I create and share what I have inside for that sole reason of just creativity. It's just what I love to do, and I'm not really worried about if people like it or not. I never have been from the early Biohazard days. It's just like I create something, I write something. It's honest, it's true, it's authentic, and if you get it and you feel it, cool. If not, that's cool too. I love, Metallica and Megadeth, but I don't love every Megadeth song.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously...
Sorry. I'm pleased, I'm happy with it. But it's not my motivation.
Okay. Obviously, the world does seem to be coming out of some kind of lockdown into freedom, but the problem is so many bands have been in stasis for so long. Are there plans for yourself to get out on the road, or are you going to sort of like hold back a bit?
I had 2 tours canceled, and it fucking sucked. It took a lot of wind out of my sails. There's another tour I've been working on for late July, August, and that's starting in Europe, and it looks like, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it doesn't look good. The situation in the Ukraine is not getting better; it's getting worse, and that's a rough thing. And on an unselfish side, it's not about me. I'm more concerned about, my friends and family in Europe.
Absolutely.
And so that's pretty scary. And the whole thing went down with fucking Putin invading Ukraine. Right, like the week before my record came out, before Leaders and Liars came out, and normally it's a time of celebration. Like, yes, it's this cathartic release of your creative energy that you've been working on for over a year or so. And it's usually a jubilee moment where you just like, fuck yeah, but it wasn't. I woke up every day not looking at my Billy Bio emails, but it was looking at the news, see what was going on in the Ukraine, and reaching out to friends over there, see how they are, and it sucks in this day and age. If we haven't learned anything over the years, another case in point for the title Leaders and Liars, but if we haven't learned that the leaders they're leading us down a path of demise and separation, and the more we fight amongst ourselves, whether it's your political view or whether it's between being a carnivore or a vegan, the more we fight amongst ourselves, the more they can easily just fucking maneuver behind the lines and push forward their propaganda, their agenda, and fucking basically just rob us. That's what it is. It's like the freedom. Freedom's never free. It's you mentioned before that now that the masks are kind of going away, we're getting our freedom back. Freedom is something that you can't give freedom. you have it. Period. If something can be given, that means it can be taken away, which means it was never yours in the first place. And the fear, and the paranoia, and all the emotions that the governments. I mean, not being in the UK, just from talking to friends, but from my experience here in the States, it's those emotions that they push forward to kind of like keep us down, to keep us fighting among ourselves. You know, and even, you know, I did a video for a song called "Turn the Wounds," and I got a lot of people asking me like, "Are you anti-vax? What's going on? What is this?" And I felt like I was a lot of press was trying to cancel me for something. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Not that it's your fucking business, but I'm vaccinated, but I'm pro-choice in everything. I think everybody should be able to choose how they want to live their life. I don't think anyone should be told what they want to do. And I made a choice of getting vaccinated for several reasons, but it was funny how probably the most cinematically beautiful video I've ever created in my life. I worked on it for over a year, and it was giant shutdowns with COVID, and I lost my co-director, my editor, my other DP, everybody. It was just a nightmare. And when it came out, it got great. Everybody loved it. But then I started getting, a lot of messages from the press saying, "Well, what's your stance?" It's like, it's art. You know, What did Van Gogh mean about, with his paintings? What did Rembrandt mean? They're not standing there. Just take what you get from it. You know?
I am a month older than you, and I'm guessing that vinyl is as important as it was to me, and still is. How important was the cover for Leaders and Liars? I mean, it's really eye-catching, and it's amazing. So does vinyl still mean a lot?
For many reasons, yeah, dude. Vinyl is awesome. I love the fact that people are more and more interested in vinyl. This is the first record that I didn't make black vinyl. I only made red, gold, and silver. And they're fucking beautiful. The gold version has a limited edition lithograph of the actual album artwork by my buddy, the Crew Eyebrows. He's a buddy from New York. I've been friends with him for since the Biohazard days. Great dude. We tried to work together in the past a few times, but this time we hit it. I sent them some of the songs that I was working on at the time, and we spent a lot of time going back and forth about the ideas that I had, the title, and he nailed it. He really captured what I was trying to visually say. So the artwork, it's not just the music and the lyrics that mean everything to me. I put a lot of energy into the videos, the artwork, the packaging. It's all one, kind of, I know it's metal and hardcore, and it's not like we're, these fucking snooty art people, but it's art for me. I've always looked at it like I'm creating something. Same as painting a picture on the wall. I just create it with music and lyrics. But the visual part of it too, it's as important as the lyrics and the music is to me. So, and especially the videos. That's like a whole. Once the record's done, I start working on the videos. That's another creative side that I absolutely fucking love working on.
Absolutely, it's the whole journey, isn't it? That's what I'm sort of trying to say. Like back when we were young, it was getting the vinyl, looking at the sleeve notes and everything, and it's the whole journey. It's not just the music; it's everything there, and it's so good that it is coming back. It's great, man.
Yeah, dude. Do you remember, to me, and it was lost for a little while, but I got turned on to so many great, awesome fucking bands by reading the back thank yous, reading who they gave shout outs to. And then MP3s came, and suddenly you couldn't even physically look at artwork. It was on your computer screen or your phone or your iPod or whatever. And now that the vinyl is becoming more and more popular, it's like you can see the artwork as it's meant to be.
Yeah,
big and large.
Brilliant.
I remember as a kid, Back in Black, AC/DC, huffing glue with my buddy in a little brown paper bag, and I was fucking wasting brain cells. But I would huff glue and then look at the artwork, or Kiss Alive 2, and look at that inside photo of everybody in the arena. So there's so many moments, all based around memories with vinyl, and the artwork was bigger. It was fucking creatively like a masterpiece, and you just listen to the music and looked at the artwork, and it's awesome. Leaders and Liars is filled with those kind of details that I love.
Okay, you've had such an amazing career, obviously starting off with Biohazard, but if you could think of a random highlight right now, which one would you choose?
Bro, there's so many. On my Patreon, I have a series called Tales from the Hard Side, and I go through all these. They're like stories I tell about my journey and different experiences from, like almost knocking out Lars Ulrich at a club one night, and the next day they turn around and decide to take us on tour because he liked the fact that I stood up to him. Or Donington, that pops in my head. I haven't told the story about Donington yet, but that was a fucking great memory. The first, we played a little bit in the UK, but when we played Donington for the first time, they got kicked off stage after like 3 or 4 songs. It was like we got the rug pulled out of us from under us, and it was like the most exhilarating and fucking horrible experience of our life, because we finally we got a chance to play in front of like a lot of fucking fellow music fans in the UK in a big crowd, instead of playing in front of like 100 people, which is always great too. But then they shut us off, and they were beating up the fucking kids. We what the fuck? And it was nasty and bad, but it was a great memory of the UK.
Okay, then the next question: what would you have been doing if you hadn't become a successful musician?
I think that's relevant, bro. Like, I remember the first punk rock played in. Like, the guys in the band wanted to, we want to focus on school, and this is just for fun. I'm like, no, it is fun, but trust me, one day we're going to play CBGBs. And CBGBs was like a fucking, it was like a goal of mine to play. And then I reached that goal, and then the next goal was to get a record deal or play another club in New York. So those realistic goals that I had set for myself were all success. Selling records and being on the cover of Kerrang or on MTV, those things were great ego strokes, but it doesn't boost your soul. It's when somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, thank you for this song. It touched me because I was going through something similar. I thought I was the only one in the fucking world that was going through it, and I realized I wasn't, because you went through it." And I felt that so many fucking times in my life, and still to this day. But when you open up and share some of your feelings, you find that sometimes your best friend or your partner or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your boss, or whatever, is going through something similar. And that gives you a little bit of extra power, a little extra juice to face that challenge. So those experiences and sharing that interaction with people, that stuff you take to the grave. That kind of like maybe brushes your soul. And I've never been one about having my ego stroked. I don't need it, don't want it, and that's it. I'm happy with making a record that I feel proud of. Leaders and Liars is, as you said, but I feel it's the strongest, and it's not. The next record is gonna be even stronger, but who knows? I look at it like I put everything I have into what I'm working on, what I'm doing, and if I die tomorrow, I left off on something that really represented me 100% proper. When I remember when the record but when I was working on the record, sometimes I get into these manic, I suffer from, like, as we all do, and especially a lot of artist friends of mine, but we all suffer from depression and kind of these manic swings. And my creativity is like it gets juiced by those swings, and I'll be in the studio for 7-8 hours working on different songs or different ideas. I come home at 2 a.m. and I wake my wife up and I'm like, "Babe, check this song out. It's fucking killer." And she says it to me all the time. She's like, "Every song you say you write, it's fucking the best one." I'm like, I get excited about it, babe. It's like it's cathartic feeling of like releasing this energy that's inside. And she's like, "Please, can you let me go back to sleep. I'll listen in the morning. I'm like, no, you got to hear it now. I'm trying to blast it in her ear, and it's like 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning. So I get up with this energy, and I stay up, bounce it off the walls until 5, 6 in the morning, and then I crash.
Yeah.
And then I'm dragging my ass at work or whatever I'm doing for the day, and I, it's this funny cycle that works. It's not a funny cycle, but it's a cycle that I've learned to embrace. And I don't take drugs to level out. I let it be the kind of the cycle for my creativity. But I don't know what ended up on that, why I got on that tangent. But that's
you live on the adrenaline. You feed on the adrenaline of life, man. That's what I do because I suffer from depression too. But it's the adrenaline of life, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. And then you gotta come down. You can't have black and white. With they complement each other. If it's constant blackness, there's nothing to show the contrast. You have to put a shade of gray or white next to it to really make the black pop out, and vice versa. Absolutely. But my wife said to me during the cycle of this record, and as I was writing, and I'm deep into all these songs starting to come up, and you never know what is going to end up on a record. I just keep writing. But there was a point where she said, "Wow, I feel like it's you. It's like these are your views, these are your opinions. Like we talk about these things, and now to hear them in your songs, it's really interesting to hear how I feel like you're talking directly to me." And I'm like, "Of course, that's all. My music has always been like that." And she's like, "No, but this is more. It just seems more precise, more pure. It's like it's odd, I guess, for her to see her man kind of talk to her through his music." But,
yeah, I get that, man. Yeah, it's like I don't know, like people that my friends that aren't into metal or rock at all, and they don't really understand. Sometimes I'll post something on Facebook and say, "Well, this is how I'm feeling." Like there's a song called "Over the Edge" by the Almighty, Ricky Warwick, and sometimes I'll post something like that. That's just how I'm feeling, and they're like, "Man, you rather than expressing your feelings by talking, you do it through your songs, but not my personal songs. But that's what you're able to do because that's your talent. But for me, listening to metal music, it's helped me get through shit in life, So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, man. Absolutely. If you could choose someone to narrate your life, who would you have do it for you?
Josh Brolin.
Nice. Brilliant, man. Okay, next one. Can you tell me why we need leaders and liars in our life and why?
That's a good one, man. That's really good. Do we need leaders? I think the true leaders are the ones that are standing next to us, the ones that are arm in arm with us in solidarity, not the ones who are asking for your fucking vote, not the ones who are vying to be put up on a pedestal and worshipped. That shit, right away, it's a short tail sign that they're full of shit. So, I tend to trust and listen to and believe artists far more than I do politicians. And so I think to answer your question, do we need leaders and liars? No. Who needs a liar in your life? The half truth is a half lie. But the politicians, the more they move their lips, the more they're just spitting out lies. So I think the other thing too, I think with leaders, we grow up with whether it's sports fans, sports figures, or political leaders, or activists, or musicians or artists, and sometimes when you meet them, they let you down. I remember a lot of sports figures. You kind of worship them as a kid, and then suddenly they get involved in this scandal, and you're like, "Oh fuck, they're not gods." They're human, and they make mistakes, and they fuck up. I think the people that I admire are the ones who fuck up and say, "Yeah, I fucked up, but I'm human, and I'll make good. I'll be accountable for my mistakes or for my wrongdoings, and turn it into something, more positive."
Brill. Okay, you'll be asked this question ad infinitum, but here we go. When's Biohazard coming back?
Who knows? Who knows? All the guys, they all reached out to me about the new record, Leaders and Liars, and gave me props. I got a great text from Bobby. He was like, "Dude, that fucking song, By the way, you mentioned Ricky Warwick has a song called "Over the Edge."
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Have you never heard it? Oh,
Bobby
mate.
reached out to me.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm going to look it now because I have a song. The opening track of the record, it's the last video I did. It's called "Blackout," and the chorus is "You push me over."
As I know, yeah, yeah, man. That's what. Yeah, I know. I can believe it. Yeah. Check it out, dude.
Yeah, Rick. We met Ricky years ago. Great dude. And anyway, so I didn't know that. And there's also another song I did on the record with Toby from H2O called "One Life to Live," and it's a super uplifting, powerful, like positive energy song. Dope video I did. It's a one camera shoot. All the videos are on my YouTube channel, which is Billy Bio. But Toby, after I did the song, he just said it to me. He said, "It's like, hey, did you get the song title from the soap opera?" And I'm like, "Soap opera? What do you mean soap opera?" And then it clicked on me. I'm like, holy fuck. There was, when I was a kid, my mother, she died when I was young, but she used to love the soap opera called One Life to Live, and it's a sappy, dramatic fucking, soap opera that was on during the day. And my mother loved it. And when he said that, literally like a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, fuck, man. Because I don't want to, it's not like, I don't want to write something. I don't want to I don't want to rewrite something or deal with a subject that someone's already touched on and did it. But sometimes emotions, are similar and inspiration is similar, but like it's authentic with me. I didn't know Ricky had a song called "Over the Edge," even though it's not the same as "Blackout." And I didn't write "One Life to Live" based around that soap opera, but it's kind of funny after the fact, and you kind of got to look at it and you can't take life too seriously and kind of chuckle at it.
Yeah, man, it's a really good song. It's a song I listen to quite a lot. God, how long ago? I've got the picture disc right here. I'm just going to see how long ago that was released. 1993. So yeah, definitely check it out. I think you'll really appreciate it, actually. But I thought that when I heard your song, I was like, fuck yeah. Can you give me 4 words to describe Billy Bio?
But I'm going to say 100% authentic. I'm going to use the "and" symbol, so it doesn't count as a word. Kick ass.
Love it, mate. I want to thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you today.
You got it. Seb, thanks for your time, bud. Yo, what's up? This is Billy Bio, and you're listening to the Metal Guards Meltdown.